Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. My Ricky Bobby
What
moment.
am I doing with my hands?
I'm doing my hand. Let's see what I'm looking like. Oh man, I'm gonna have to talk to the cinematographer.
We need
I
more
signed
lighting.
up. I tell people I signed up for radio,
So not for
and then
TV.
technology then kicked in. And they said, "No, we need to do Facebook and YouTube." And so, and I know for many years people wonder, what does that dude look like?
Uh,
So take all of the mystery out of.
yeah, that is true because I used to back in the day, like when you ride and you listen to the radio, because I used to, listen to Sparky and Gary and Leroy on the show. They had a show, and you would always. I don't know why, but you would just try to picture what the person looked like because of their voice.
Mhm.
I already knew what Leroy looked like, but Gary Ellison and Sparky. When I finally saw Sparky downtown at the Mecca, uh, it was surprising because I wasn't expecting Sparky to look like that.
Well, some people look like their voice.
Yeah,
Keon
Sparky.
looked like his voice.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
the first time I heard him, but the first time I saw him, yeah, that's Keon.
yeah.
Some people look like their voice. Good morning, Clark Kent.
Who you with?
Hey, man, with the people.
Got to give the peoples.
Give people what they want. What up, right out?
Hey, Jack. I can't call it,
Hit the
man.
road, Jack, and don't you come back. No more, no more, no more, no more.
This morning, Keith, I got a chance to tune up, man.
I heard that.
And
I heard that.
so whenever you bring your message and you get to the point that you want to tune up,
Just
call me and I come on up there and
I'll be over there arguing with the that ain't the right key.
turn me up, tune me up, now take me up.
That ain't the right key.
That was the funniest.
Oh man, boy, you need to stop messing with that organist over there and work
And
on your
preach,
message.
yeah.
Yeah, preach. Anyway, a couple of things. God, I listened to Michelle, and boy, it does engender certain questions being asked. But I was just telling the folks out in the green room that I did watch one battle after another, and I really enjoyed that movie. It was 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I can see why it was best picture. I can see why it was best picture in my mind. Now, good. Let me do this full transparency, this disclaimer. I love movies. I love all types of movies. So how I look at a movie might be a little bit different than maybe how most folks will look at movies. So I'm looking at how well it's put together. I'm looking at what does the plot, all those things, cinematography. I'm looking at the whole thing. But this is actually a very good movie, and it really does keep you on the edge of your seat. There's these things going on there about questions that people might be asking about ICE and how people are using immigration and customs. And this idea of white purity, there's a lot going on. So I enjoyed the movie. I hope I wasn't colored by the fact it won Best Picture, because you can have some movies after they win Best Picture, you go like, oh, people love Moonlight. I was trying to follow Moonlight. I don't know. There's this period. Everybody remember Moonlight? Oh, okay. It won Best Picture.
Oh,
yeah. All right, let me do caller, then I'll come back and I have a question I want to ask the audience. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, Keith, let me not be quick. I was trying to change. Okay, hey. I was just talking to Whiteout because I kind of came in late on it, but he told me, yeah, none of you guys, when I met you, you didn't look anything like I thought you sounded. None of you. And sometimes you better be careful. Me calling on the station so much, I've been asked places, ain't you George, the guy that called in on the radio station? And sometimes I tell them no. I'm know, I was up in Center Street one day, Center Street Fish Market. This big old dude asked me. I was like, no, man, that ain't me.
Yeah, because you don't know what he wanted.
Right. I thought he might have Meech's brother or something.
Okay, let me be the hater that I am. I wouldn't be true to myself. So you see yourself as having fame because of your calling in to.
Oh no, not
That's
at all.
what it sounds like, brother.
Oh no, man. I'm that ordinary guy that got opinions that call into the radio station. I'm just saying, you better be careful who you around. when they, like when people set you up.
Yeah, you know,
like somebody else I know that told a story all backwards how we had masks on and all that stuff. We didn't have no damn mask on that day. But I know you had to cover your butt because you didn't hire Craig Stingley when you brought him up to hey George, it's Craig. But when you brought that other dude up to me, you didn't say that, so stop. I ain't famous. And but what I wanted to say
you
too.
About
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when you told Jermaine that false tale how we met and stuff. Well, we had masks on and all that. No, we did.
We did.
But what?
It was during COVID. But I mean,
we were sitting in North Division. No, none of us had masks on, Keith. Nobody.
I got the pictures, George.
Okay, send it to me. We had no mask on when we were talking.
I thought we had.
Because matter of fact, Keith, when I had thought about it, I think me and him walked out together, and I even offered him a ride. So, because when I thought about it, because you was like, well, you should have recognized his voice.
Okay, and just bring people up to speed.
Everybody know the story.
Okay. I don't know if everybody knows.
But I just wanted to say this too, because I know we can expound on some stuff, and we have to be careful not to let our feelings get so deep in the stuff that we make wrong decisions. Did not Mardella Barnes come on your show?
Yes.
Okay, so are you the black radio station?
Well, there's some people question my black card, but
for the
sake of argument, I'm going to say yes. Though I know that it's probably going to start blowing up in the chat room that that ain't a black program. But no.
So I just want to say, be careful what we do because for whatever reason, I don't know why he didn't do it, but we still have to be careful what we do because there's no reason that bootlicking Ron Johnson should be in office right now. But we get so caught up in our feelings sometimes that, if somebody, Eric told me not to ever say that again when he said, sometimes you got to pick the worst out of two evils. I think that's how we say it. And Eric told me never to say
what is it? The evil of two lessers.
Right. And sometimes you do have to hold your nose when you go in there and vote because we know what Ron Johnson is about. Now, has that man passed legislation and all that kind of stuff like she be saying? Probably not. I'm going to take her word on that. But I bet he would have been a better choice in there than Ron Johnson. So, and when your buddy call you on the radio station on your show and say, let it go, that he ran against, tell you let it go. We need him in office versus having Ron Johnson in there. To me, that speaks volumes. So sometimes I just called in to say, people, sometimes we got to be careful about what we do. If you're supposed to be, like Keith say, knowledgeable voters, we cannot have these Republicans in office.
Let me part of my message Sunday, I gave a free political science lesson, but they describe politics sometimes. A person has described it this way: like there's these four political stratas being where people are: the powerful, the power seekers, the political, and apolitical. Most folks are between political and apolitical. Political being that, as you just described, you're pretty well versed voter. You kind of know the issues, you know the candidates. But a significant portion of the population is apolitical. They might vote, they might not vote. They could be, what do they call them? Low information voters. And then you work your way back up to the top, the people who are in power, who are trying to maintain power. And then there's people who are climbing the hill trying to get power. And so we can find ourselves in a lot of these four different stratas, depending on where you are. I wish that emotion would be taken out of politics, but I understand that we are emotional beings.
Yes, we are.
Our emotions mean things, and I think we get to the point where we need to be careful that we don't create blind spots, right?
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
and that you get to the point that you don't see. I'll give you a great example. Down in Memphis right now, Representative Cohen has been representing Memphis. He ran against a black man to be the representative. I think Harold Ford's old seat. Um, there is no question that Cohen has been a great representative for Memphis. Now we have another school of thought say, well, if it's black folks, it should be black folks who lead black folks. Here's the problem with what we're discovering is that just because you black don't mean you down for what's black,
I
right?
agree.
And so I think it has to be more sophisticated than that. You vote your interest. And
Mm-hmm.
then that gets to, and I know people are gonna trip, but that gets to in some people's mind why there were certain black people who voted for Donald Trump because they thought or they felt or they believed that Donald Trump represented their interest.
But you know what, Keith? To me, that just seems like they're not knowledgeable because, I mean, when you go back and look at that man's track record, because the man got a track record.
Yeah.
And if you go back and look at his track record, and you say, I say this all the time, how can you believe a liar of anything that comes out their mouth? And so your interest that you done, because I was thinking about this when I was listening to Michelle taking the kids to the school. Two qualified women, one black, one white, more qualified than his baby finger, should have been in office. And now we see what we got. Now it's too late for now, but so we'll see what happens in 2028. And one thing I do agree with you, Keith, and he changed his opinion yesterday, I think it was, with Vance. Vance was kind of backing up on that. But now I see he done rolled up in line too. So Donald Trump must have took you back in the office and gave him a spanking or something and told him he better get in line. But he wasn't down with this war. And so the thing that, like Michelle said, and what I do, Keith, if I don't know something about a candidate, I got this phone right in my hand and I will Google them. And I won't just look at one article. I'll look until I say, okay, this person seems like they're okay. But in my mind, Keith, I don't think I will ever vote for a Republican, not even a black one. Because you had some candidates that used to come on the shows that were black, but it's like, okay, even if you get in office, what are you going to do when you get up there that's going to change their minds? Nothing. So my vote is always going to swing towards the Democrat. And if I mess up and pick the wrong one, then we just going to get them out of office, start all over again. But I will never vote for a Republican, and I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for letting me come on.
Well, let me just say this: never say never. You don't know. I mean, if you don't know, and I understand now, America is so partisan now. I mean, probably more than it's ever been in terms of our politics, and maybe not. Maybe we're very partisan during slavery, which kind of gets me to something Michelle was kind of talking about. Let me ask a question. And it'll be a two-part question. One, is slavery wrong? Is slavery immoral? Is slavery immoral? Third time. Is slavery immoral?
I think it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's well, first of all, that you got a human being that you keep subject to you and your voice and whatever you tell that person to do, they supposed to do it, and if they don't do it, then it's a punishment.
Are you gonna read out?
Yeah, it's just law.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, slavery. Um,
Okay. So then let me ask the second part of that question. Has slavery always been immoral and wrong?
well, I think owning a person is wrong. However, how they treat the person. Some of these people, took. Okay, I'm gonna say this. It's just like if we had the same toy, right? You go buy a toy, I go buy a toy. It's the same toy, but I treat the toy, way better than you. I treat the toy, I put it back up in the box. I, make sure it's not laying around and things of that nature. You, on the other hand, you have the toy, you throwing it up against the wall, you just, doing all type of stuff to the toy. I think in slavery, it was some people that looked at owning a person as you're underneath me and not as hired help.
So is slavery immoral?
Yes, I think so.
Has slavery always been immoral?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Third part of this question. So if you think that slavery is wrong,
Right.
you think slavery has always been immoral,
Right.
and this gets back to what this legislator was doing in Georgia, then the Bible supports slavery. So if the fact that the Bible supports slavery, is slavery still immoral?
Do you think that the Bible supports slavery, or
No,
the
I'm just
person
saying what's
that
written
wrote,
in there.
or the person that wrote that?
It's in the Bible.
Particular time. Hold on. From the person that wrote that from that particular time, because a lot of stuff that was in the Bible didn't come from God.
No.
That was from people's, that was from people's point of view. So like some of the stuff that's in the Bible, that's put in the Bible, didn't come from God. It was some of these people' point of view that was living at that point in time.
Okay. So is this a difficult question? I think it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it is because
Yeah.
this is why Pastor Joy, I can never pronounce her last name, at St. Mark Church, points out that her grandmother will not read Ephesians. So I'm asking the question, phone line's open, has slavery always been immoral? And even if it's in the Bible, does it still mean, and it seems that in many instances the Bible supports slavery. And what I mean by that is, let's say it wouldn't support slavery, but there was no pushback. Paul talks about how slave masters should treat their slaves. That's not saying that slavery is wrong. It's just saying how you conduct slavery becomes the issue.
Right.
Right.
So that's because Paul was talking about,
Slaves
at that period of time.
Okay.
Because that was the time that they
But
was
we
living
said from
in.
the beginning that slavery is immoral.
I get it. Yeah. Well, I don't think it was meant to be how it turned out, because of course, when you got human beings and you put them in charge of something, some people, they take it and do, they go overboard.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, because if Paul talks about how you were supposed to treat the people that you own, some of the people had some people that they own and treated them wrong because of how they wanted to treat people.
Mm-hmm. Caller, welcome to the program.
I can't stand you.
I'm just saying, mm-hmm. That's all I said. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Slavery is both immoral and it's wrong, even doing now, even back in the biblical days, because it's wrong for a man to own another man. It's just totally outright wrong. That's my opinion.
Okay. So
Okay.
question to you, Keith. So by a person owning a person, was that the way of the world at that particular time?
Even if you think
war was the way of the world at that time. And subjugating women was the way of the world at that time. Does it make it any righter?
It does not. You're absolutely right. Even if that was the way of the world at that time, and it used to be the way of the world of people that was wealthy, still doesn't make it right. At all.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You cannot justify that. Another man owning another man.
Okay. Appreciate you.
Yep.
All right. Caller, welcome to the program. Lost him. Okay. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
What's happening, brother?
Hey, Keith,
I really like the way you keep a straight face about this. You really good at that. You could be a lawyer.
See that we need to come off of YouTube. Get us off.
Why did they bring out the whip? If slavery was wrong, why did they have to whip them? And why did they have to trade them the mother? They separated the mother and the child and the husband and the wife. Why did they do that if it wasn't wrong? All right, brothers, peace.
Now he has a good point, and I liked what he said. Now, and that
I didn't
goes back-
understand it.
Well, I mean that kind of goes back to okay, me saying okay, that was the way things were at that time. However, you got some people that took advantage of the system and they started implementing their own way of treating slaves and things like that.
Okay, so let me get back to one. Is enslavement wrong? Has it always been wrong? And then even in the Bible, I don't know if support is the right word, but yeah, I think in some instances it supported slavery. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, here we go. Well, you know what? I think slavery was 100% wrong. But if slavery was so right, why there wasn't no Jews on no cotton plantations? Why they wasn't on the breeding farms? If it was so right, if it was in the Bible, that's what we need to be asking today. Since everybody got all this smoke. But this is the question I wanted to ask you, Mr. Parris. If white supremacy was so good and so great and they were so smart, why are they still treated like foreign niggas by the Jews? Because all they got was land and $30,000. And they're still second class to Jews.
Who
and they are converted Europeans.
Who are you talking about, Al?
I'm talking about, slavery and all that. Where was the Jews on the cotton plantations? Where were they at on the breeding farms? And when we look at today, with all the smoke and ruckus for, everybody that's black and Mexican, white supremacy is still treated like foreign niggas by the Jews. They don't have more power than the Jews. And Europeans supposed to be the real Europeans.
I don't know if I caution us, that is kind of anti-Semitic to say
what?
that.
You think so?
To say that Jews have all the power, that's not the case. Europeans,
we got people dying in wars for their bull sugar honey iced tea.
Yeah, we had people dying in wars that had nothing to do with Jews. I mean, wars just.
Well, we talking about today.
Okay, even today. I mean,
okay.
So today is when people look at, let's differentiate between the state of Israel and Jews. And if we don't do that, then we'll go down. Now, do I have a problem with the state of Israel? I do. And not because it's Jewish. I have a problem with the fact that, one, they have basically disenfranchised indigenous people of that land. That's my issue. I have that same issue with Europeans who did the same thing for indigenous people all over the world. So when we have this conversation talking about Israel, understand that yes, Israel, the majority of people in Israel are Jewish, but there's something bigger than the fact the Jewish piece is identity. But there are other things that are going on. There are many people who believe in 1948 Israel should have never been recognized as a nation just because of, the Gaza Strip was created in 1948. All right, just so people kind of know. That's how far back it goes, right? So when you look at the history, so I say, let's be clear. There's a difference between what we say Jews throughout the world, right? And they give this whole thing, and whenever particularly Europeans wanted to find a boogeyman, the boogeyman was always the Jew, because they know how people hate Jews. I'm sorry?
Well, I don't hate Jews.
No, I didn't say you. I said, but there are people out there that hate Jews.
And they hate us as well, and we getting all the smoke. And we shouldn't be.
There you go.
But why are we getting all the smoke? I mean, they having
We
7 to
we
10
ain't
kids,
catching all the smoke. There's other people
but
out there catching smoke.
but they use black people as the poster child for welfare. And black people today, especially black women, is not having those 7 to 10 kids on welfare,
Well, back in
living
the
in houses that
back
cost
in the
over
day,
a
black
quarter of
women
$1
weren't
million.
having 7 kids on welfare. You had some women on there with 7 kids, but the average, I know when I worked in that, it was about 1.5, 1.7 kids per family. So that's about 2 kids. So that myth, but we can always use. So if we can use Jews to say that they're controlling the world's economics, right? And here's the code word for that. When you hear New World Order, those are anti-Semitic people going after the Rothschilds and all these other. But look, the Rothschilds slavery, though there might have been Jews who were involved, there were also Arabs that were involved. There are also African people that were involved, and we're talking about our enslavement history. So there was a whole lot of folks out there because look, slavery by the time we got to America was based on money.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Okay, so when people look at that enslavement piece, there was some money. There are people going back talking about how these bankers made money. You read the 1619 Project, where it talks about how black bankers made money, like the forerunners of Morgan Stanley and all these, they invested in enslavement. It's always about the money, y'all. And I know
understand that, but I understand. But I'm saying they own the slave ships, they own the auction blocks, and we're today is still getting the smoke. And we should not be getting the smoke when they should be getting the smoke. People want to have all these race wars. They against Mexicans, they against black people. We don't have no power. Go to them. They talk about the Holocaust on how they was murdered, but they murdered Christians too.
Let me say this, and it gets back to that whole original question we asked about when we were talking a discussion about politics. Politics is really emotional, right? You appeal to people's emotions. Their emotions about rightness, their emotions when it comes to justice. Look, isn't it interesting? I got to go out, but real quickly, in this last election, and even part of the SAVE Act, they threw in trans people. What does trans people have to do with voting? It didn't. But what does it do? It elicits a certain emotional response by people, right? So when you hear Republicans now throwing this thing out, should men play in women's sports? Well, everybody goes, well, of course not, because we've divided men and female sports. So then but you talk about trans people, and when you get into that discussion, then automatically your homophobic kicks in, your homophobic, all those different things that you have. That's why I told people they had a problem with Eric Wallace. When I had Eric Wallace on, remember the brother was on, I said, but y'all might find yourself, some of y'all who are really going after him will find yourself in agreement with him on certain issues that he talked about. And one of the issues he talked about were trans people. And trust me, there's a whole lot of black folks who will line up. I find it amazing that some of the most marginalized people in the world will look for somebody else to kick. And then for black folks, and I say that, let me do it. For some black folks, the easy person to kick is that gay person, because we know what the Bible said. We know what the Bible said about that. And then that gets to the other part of my question. Just because the Bible says it's right, is it right?
Come on.
And I was just going to hang up, but I just wanted to let you know there was another Republican who was trying to steal a 6-year-old booty hole. Right. Have a good day. Right. Bye-bye.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, let me do that for you.
Damn. You're listening to Community Voice.
Wow.
The phone lines open for
Yikes.
Leave those little boys alone. 414-444-5250. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice Caller. We thank you for your patience. Welcome to the program.
They took all this shit.
Hello. Hello. Hey,
Yeah,
what's happening?
that wet shit, right?
Hello.
He was like,
All right, man. We need to drive in?
I
Drive
don't know, but that cat, boy, I had to catch them words.
Right.
Say, hey, man, I'm doing my job over here,
I'll never
brother.
forget, we were having, we just went to virtual church during COVID. And somebody said, I'm going to the store. And they said, yeah, bring me back a pack of Newports. And we in church. Caller, welcome to Caller, welcome to the program.
No, he dropped.
Wait a
Yeah, he dropped.
Lost and left out.
So what you eating over there? Chocolate?
Thin Mints, Girl Scouts.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, Debo get his from Ezra?
wow. We just probably having a radio program over here. Probably having a radio program over here. And,
The real life.
actually, I was talking about something you was talking about on your program.
What's that?
Hold on, Keith. I got something for that too.
Ain't gonna tell you. You know what?
414-444-5250. If slavery is immoral, and slavery has always been immoral, was it okay because the Bible basically supported forms of slavery?
But the Bible did support it.
Yes,
though.
it did.
No, it did. It just talked
Did
about
it ever say it was wrong?
It never said it was right neither.
Okay, so the Bible is indifferent when it comes to slavery.
But no. But Keith, listen.
For real. We having this conversation.
Wait. Oh man, you got a phone call.
Yeah, you just got bailed out. Caller, welcome to the program. Caller, thank you for bailing out, Jermaine. Good morning.
good morning, brother Keith.
What's
I
happening?
just wanted to mention that I really appreciate your approach when talking about the Jewish state, the Jewish people, the Jewish culture, because I don't believe that we have a clear understanding when you unravel that type of conversation. And so I picked up the back end of it when I come on the radio, and I appreciate your approach because I think that, you know, talking about that particular issue and people, I think it's important to understand it through the right lens and also understand it how, as Black people, whether we realize it or not, that tapestry, some of that we can identify with it. And so
When you
I
say
think
we
it's
can
important.
identify with it, what do you mean? What do we identify with?
So when you talk about like Jewish folks, they've been enslaved.
Right.
So you just been talking about, right. So just leaving it to that point right there.
Okay.
Being an enslavement issue, right? We can identify with that. They can identify with that. And it's historical. I mean, going way back, right?
Mhm.
Other cultures can identify with enslavement also. But when you use contemporary understanding and in which we live now, there's a link that we can kind of see and understand, and then hopefully understand it when you talk about Jews and their culture and what goes on in enslavement. There's some connections there. So just on that one topic in terms of enslavement.
All right. Appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Mm-hmm. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, brother. How are you?
It's showtime at the Apollo.
Tonight.
Yeah, the sister
Gotta
that
give
was
us-
the host, she just passed.
Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that.
that's what I'm calling for, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm calling for.
She just passed.
You get, when I think of Apollo, because it's a certain way how it come on. It was Apollo, and after Apollo went off, it was Soul Train. Then after Soul Train, if I'm mistaken though, I think Lady Glow came on afterwards. Lady Glow,
Right.
the female wrestler. Was that how it used to come on?
I don't know, man, because by the time the Apollo came on, because that came on after Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yes, it
I'd
was
be
after
knocked
Saturday Night
out.
Live.
I'd be asleep, man. So I didn't know. But then,
Sleep.
yeah, but then,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, Keith, but only reason why I'm saying that because I guess you're an older fella. I wasn't sleeping there. I wasn't sleeping around Apollo time, man. We was up all night, fam.
do we have another caller? Don't be throwing no old shade. You know, I was amazed because then I would ask how many of the kids in children's churches say how many of y'all watch the Apollo? I'm just throwing it out there. And like half the hands went up. Like you were still up after midnight.
Yeah, man, dude, that was the only time we could stay up was Saturday, man.
Okay.
Saturday, man, Fridays and Saturdays we stayed up. As a matter of fact, and when Nintendo came out, we didn't go to sleep.
That's right.
Okay.
We stayed up, and then when we couldn't stay up, and we got so far in the video game, we put something in front of the video game, knowing thing is cut off, so we could play it when we get up, because it wasn't you couldn't save video games back then, so you had to hide it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you gonna call me old, but then you got it back
Yeah,
then.
you got no
Wait a minute, hold on.
idea.
He called me old, Clark, but he got it back then. Anytime you got it back then, you old. All right.
Hey, what you didn't have no video games then, so be quiet.
I didn't. I would be honest with you, but you just kind of put yourself on blast. Yeah, back in the day. Oh, did you old?
I did. I had that one
Hey.
that could ping.
Oh, do you have to?
Hey,
Paul.
oh man, you didn't even you had before Atari.
He had the
You had
2600,
before
right? No, he had the
Yeah.
Atari 2600.
No, wasn't that Pong?
Yeah, that was
That
That
was Pong.
was
Yeah.
Pong.
Oh yeah, yeah. With the sticks.
Yeah, you just hit it back
And
and
what
forth.
was it? Frogger.
Oh, Frogger crossing the street. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
by
what
the
it
time
was.
I came on video games, wasn't even the videos I was watching. All right.
No, you was watching.
I ain't
Channel
saying
8,
what I
the
was
box
watching. I'm
you
just saying what
control.
video games. Okay. So yeah.
Hey, you was watching the box, the one you control.
That
on
box
Channel
thing,
8.
that box piece was real interesting because I think I did get a box one time, but then
No. I ain't talking about the box. I'm talking about the actual channel. Channel 8 was called the box, where you watch
okay.
the music videos.
Yeah, see,
Oh.
my
I ain't
buddy.
talking about the.
Yeah, my buddy. He
I ain't
was
talking
on
about the
that.
scanner
That
box.
was what was that? Was that the music box?
Yeah, that was the music box. That
Right.
was the
And my
jukebox.
buddy, man, he used to love that because he was under the impression because he would tape like the videos, you know. He was under the impression because it was on VHS, the sound quality was so much better. So that's why
it
he
was
would
terrible.
go in. I know it was terrible, man. I try to get him to
Yeah, it was
understand that, man. If you listen to digitized sound now, it is so much better than analog. And I know there are people out there they still stuck on analog. No, man. There's
and you couldn't talk. And if you was recording from the radio, you couldn't talk. Y'all got to be quiet because I'm trying to record.
Yeah.
which then led us to because you gotta know our history, which then led
You
us
gotta know the
to
history.
video cameras going to movies. The bootleg a movie.
Right.
I mean, the
Hey,
big old, I don't know even how you stuck that big old video
Nah.
camera up into the
I don't
theater.
know how.
I'll tell you
That
how.
thing is huge.
No,
that
I'll
thing
tell
is
you how.
huge.
You would have to go earlier in the day when there was nobody there.
Yeah, get there first.
You would have to go
You had to-
early, catch the 11. Well, I'm telling honest.
You got it back then. You got to hold just a minute.
That ain't always true because R. Kelly tape one in the movies and I seen that on bootleg.
Well, that's
So-
because he shot that himself.
Well,
at
that
home.
was a production. That was. I mean, he
that was
was
a real
He was
dummy
making a movie. I mean, you know, he had other things. Probably had a director.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, Robin. What we want to do in this particular scene?
Boy,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, man. So no, he had something else going on. You know,
He did, but I think
I don't
it might have been
understand that,
I
man.
was just about to say
Why
that.
do you videotape the crime?
And why do you
Lord,
want to?
why do you videotape
Why do you
the
want to
crime?
go back and look at you
And-
committing a
and your-
crime like that? Man?
and your face is right in the camera talking about that ain't me.
And wait, no. And she said his government name on the tape. If you
Well,
go back
somebody
and
said,
look,
"Well, what about all the music awards with his name
Yeah,
on in the
wall.
background?
Yeah, bro.
All his gold records
Bro,
up on the wall."
she
Oh,
clearly
man.
said his
Boy.
name on the video.
You got a plaque of bump and grind
And
in
let
the
me and
background.
let me and let me and let me say this: if you watch that video, it's considered child pornography. So
What-
just so
what-
people
what-
know,
wait.
when
Get in trouble.
no,
Wait,
you
wait,
could have got in trouble
wait, Keith,
for
wait,
watching
Keith,
or
wait, Keith.
possessing that video because
Yeah,
it's
we
considered
should-
child
Wait.
pornography.
Yeah, I sure
Yeah,
have
but
it.
what back in the day when it first came out, we were younger than the actual age watching that thing.
Oh, okay.
And
here you go.
and
Here
on-
you go.
And on top of that,
No.
no,
We
that
wasn't.
is true. That is true.
We
Because
was
we was
Didn't
like
17,
that tape come out in the
17,
90s?
then.
Yeah, but we was like
Man,
15,
yeah,
16 years old. We was like 14,
Yeah.
15 years old.
Yeah.
And
That's what I thought.
and when it came
Even
out,
if you're
it
a
was,
minor, you cannot possess child pornography.
I mean, but we're a child ourselves.
We're a child.
Children
ourselves.
cannot. You certainly can't have pornography.
Well, how about the guy?
How about
that's
let's stop
selling
just
it?
because I don't know if the statute of limitations is up yet.
No,
so
but it was a guy that was
Wait,
that had
wait,
it
Keith,
on DVDs that they
Keith,
were
Keith,
selling on
Keith,
DVDs.
you just said, Keith, first of all, you just said you was watching videos too.
he telling on himself.
no. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna fall back. They were legal.
There was,
Well,
Everybody in the videos I was
Hey.
watching was 18 and over.
hey, right, he was watching the Big Bad Mama Jammas.
Whatever I was watching, I could legally watch it. So
no, he was watching Black Rear Ends number 10.
Yeah, hey, the Big Black Mama Jammas.
Right, number 10.
Girls Going Wild,
Right.
number 13. Girl,
Now,
Yeah,
Girls
okay,
Going
look at that.
Girls Gone Wild. Girls Gone Wild was kind of like a soft.
How do we get on this, man? We was
Like-
talking about a slavery wrong. Appreciate you, man. Boy, the rabbit holes, man. And people said, "Yeah, I had that video." How do you know what was going on in that R. Kelly video unless
saw
you
it.
see the R. Kelly video? We got another caller. We scrape.
No,
Scrape.
hey, but it's crazy because man, I used to go up to the check casher place on Funny like where they used to sell all the bootleg everything, socks, DVDs. This one dude used to jogging suits. one dude had the movies, but you would think, okay, like say like you know, a name a movie,
I say Roger
Doolittle.
Rabbit. Yeah.
Okay, so you would think you was getting Doolittle because it would say Doolittle on the DVD, but you'll get home and it'd be something totally different. Like, man, what is this?
And the first time I'm a star
this?
was in the movie theater. I was in Miami. I was in the church's parking lot. I can tell you where I was. So I come out. Dude got the package, you know.
Yeah.
Got the cover on
Got it
there.
in the jacket. Yeah.
I said, and this is before. Now you know you can be in the movie and streaming.
Yeah.
This was before streaming. I'm going.
How did you get it?
How did you get a copy? And then my brother-in-law go, dude, that's bootleg.
Bootleg. Yeah.
You got people talking, getting up in the middle of the shot.
Yeah. You can see
You
him
know,
walking past the camera.
And trust me, there was a market out there, man.
Yeah.
People was buying it. This young brother told me a story. Right.
Hey, you gotta get on that clap.
some
You gotta get on that clap.
Remember your uncle at the wedding who just got that big camcorder? It looking like he from NBC News getting that big old camcorder on his shoulder.
Look, you man.
Hey, but you have to go early. You gotta go early. Hey,
Look, Keith.
Hand be shaking so be like, why? Right. Why is the movie shaking, man? If the dude hold the camera,
And even some of these performance videos you watch on YouTube
yeah.
is somebody's cell phone. So you
Prime
hear
example.
people, out there talking, singing a song all off key.
Listen, Jodeci just did for Valentine's Day. They just did the Jodeci reunion tour that they all back. Somebody recorded it on their Apple phone, which looks great, by the way.
Yeah.
Looks and sound great. But boy, when I tell you, we gonna figure out a way to sell some stuff to relive whatever we did because they put it on YouTube and it's blowing up. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, let me.
Like told me about it last night. She was like, I seen the concert already.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sure did.
In Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And it's the same show.
sometimes now if it's an official video, because now you actually going through their sound system.
Exactly. So you
You
can,
know,
but
you hear
now you don't need to. Now
No,
these
but I'm
little
saying, but
Apple
I
phones-
still know if it's an Apple phone because you only got one angle,
Oh,
right?
well, yeah.
And most shows now videotaping the shows,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
when you go out,
Yeah.
I watch a lot of Earth, Wind and Fire's concerts, right? And depending on who the venue is, but man, because even what was it? Was it last year before last, when New Edition was down at Essence, and you had the official Essence, and then you had Keith in row 6 with your iPhone, and that's why I know when I went to see Dave Chappelle, you have to give up your phone. You know, they don't want because people are mindful of their proprietary rights in terms of their images. Who was it? I don't know. Was it Fantasia? I think it could have been Fantasia, where she got up and she said something. You saw people. She said, "Wait a minute, you spent all this money for your ticket, and now you letting people watch it for free on your phone?" And I saw cell phones dropping all over the place. You know, it's like, yeah, man. I mean, it is. It's really. Let me. Somebody text me. They said that concept is predicated on interpretation. The people in Israel today are imposters in the greatest identity thieves. Okay, I got all of that, but they weren't the only ones who were enslaved, right? African folks owned slaves, so this is not anything. So the question becomes, just because it's a common practice, does it make it moral? You know, that I think that's the position that I'm coming from. And I think then it gets us all twisted and then it gets back to Michelle and the point she was making on her program is how we're trying to squeeze our existence into the Bible. And we need to take Bible in context. I guess that's the only question. So there were people like leading up to the Civil War here in America who had moral oppositions to any form of enslavement. But then at the same time, these same people were white supremacists. Go figure. Caller, welcome to the program.
Good morning,
Good morning.
Reverend Doctor. This is the Reverend Dr. Andrew Ward, reiterating a point that I have made too many times and it has not been acknowledged enough. Slavery, and it's borne out by comparison to Jewish people and black people. Jewish people go for white as do light, bright, and alibi white black people. People, that thing of black and white is came up so the stupidest person can discriminate. And if you're familiar with Black Rock, or whether you are or not, we need to understand that before we even talk about slavery and discrimination. Black Rock owns the world and its money, and y'all have a good one.
Yeah, they changed their name now. Yeah. Okay, and let me see. Identity thieves in the history of humanity. Like I said, man, people have very strong feelings about Jewish people, but people have very strong feelings about African people, right? Our ethnicity is one of those things where it's about the clan and CLAN, and how we can rally around how we look, we can rally around how we worship, you know, we can rally around national identity, these things. But when race was introduced into the world, and again, race is about a 500-year concept, okay? Because prior to that, it was where you were from. And then they would talk about how you looked. Now we use how you look to determine who gets what resources. That's the big issue. So I just say that when I hear us having this discussion, I think when it comes to the whole political piece, um, it we need to be careful that we don't. I think America is not a Judeo-Christian country. It was not founded on Judeo-Christian principles. This is something that the religious white right has said that this was the founding of this country. Many of those people now who find themselves part of the religious right were not even considered whole U.S. citizens. Not unlike enslaved people, certainly not like an indigenous people who had their own different things. So even this concept of who was white was when you talk about the composition of the U.S. Constitution, who was white was males with property, and then there's everybody else. Okay, and so even then, when the first Africans came here, as and I put it in indentured slaves, right? They also had indentured servitude. They also had whites who were here for indentured servitude. They talk about Georgia and Georgia being a penal colony, right? So there were the people who were part of Europe who were looked down upon. If they were in Europe, there's probably no other group, in certain parts of Europe that was looked down upon more than the Irish, right? Where you would hear the Irish say that they were basically the niggas of Europe. That's how condescending they were. And then in America, we began to deal with Eastern Europe, right? Those people that came from the Balkans, those people who came from countries like Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, the southern Mediterranean, where they looked down on Italians. Okay. Now, again, our experience here has been more brutal because of enslavement. But this whole idea of who is white, that expands. Okay. And one of the real fascinating groups of people, these here are the South Asian Indians, right? People from India. Um, the first thing Idi Amin did when he assumed power in Uganda was he expelled not only the English, but all of the Indians. Because what Britain did, they did it in Uganda, they did it in South Africa. They would bring in Indians because India was part of the British Empire then, and they would bring them in. So you had this buffer. So you had a darker group of people, that'd be the indigenous people there in Uganda. And then you had the Indians. So the Indians were the merchants, they were civil servants, all that. So you had this, and just based on the differences in complexion, those people then would have access to relative power in that country. And so Idi Amin, being who he was, certainly went after the Indians. People may or may not know Mahat, Mahatma Gandhi lived in South Africa, and I think he was basically expelled from South Africa, and he ended up back in India. But that was all part of how the British would colonize and who they would bring in, and who then to basically run the country. You're listening to Community Voice. We will be joined in the next hour by U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. So again, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
with your host, Keith Parris.
All right, welcome back to Community Voices. We have a few minutes before our guest comes on with us this morning. Um, I was telling Jermaine, he was talking to me about something that the president just lied about. And I had this Kamala Harris moment when I go this. But I pointed out to Jermaine, and I've said this, that my wife doesn't cuss, right? That is not, she doesn't, it's not part of her normal speech pattern. But this dude can get hurt to cussing, because it just be, I'm just like, dude, you lying, right? And I think he's gotten to the point now where, he's beginning to experience some senility and dementia, and where, he gets on this thing, and people are so fearful of him that they got to know in private, because you will hear certain Dems who say privately what their Republican colleagues are saying. Like, like this dude is on something. But see, power can make you dismiss good judgment, right? And so your thirst for power is such, and so people are fearful that if he comes out and he primaries them, then I'm not gonna be here in Congress anymore. So it is, but you gotta, and we just thank you, Jermaine. Jermaine just pointed out that, and they're doing it on The View too, that oh man, guess who just showed up to the party? JD Vance. Now I've been asking the question, where's JD? Where's JD been? And there were rumblings. There were people who were saying that he was opposed to this particular action, based on his experience in Iraq and Afghanistan when he served in the Marines. I think people who actually serve have a different perspective when it comes to, now we're going to be putting U.S. servicemen and women in harm's way when it comes to war, and what that means, and how solemn people should really be, and how seriously they should be seriously taken. I've always said that he has surrounded himself with people who are not very serious thinkers. And part of being a serious thinker is that you have to think about long-term consequences of your immediate decisions. We're joined on the line by Senator Tammy Baldwin. Good morning, Senator. How are you?
I am well. Good morning.
Yeah, good to hear your voice.
It's good to join you.
All right. So I know we just have a few minutes here, so we'll be very rapid fire.
Great.
I know you wanted to come on to talk about, I saw this, the 21st Century Road and Housing Act. What is that?
The 21st Century Road to Housing Act is a major initiative on making housing more accessible and affordable throughout the nation. We have a housing crisis, and right now, when you think about the American dream of owning a home and creating generational wealth that can be passed down, it is getting harder and harder for people to buy homes. Right now, the average age of a first-time home buyer in the United States is 40 years old. And so this bill aims at bringing down the cost and making housing more accessible. One of the things that goes after in a very strong fashion is these big corporate investors who are buying up thousands of family homes and then renting them, oftentimes as out-of-state landlords. We want to bring those homes back into the housing market so people can buy them and make them theirs. And so this does, among many other things, include caps on how many homes a corporation can own.
And this is this bill has bipartisan support.
Yes.
And
In fact, it passed the Senate overwhelmingly. Now it was 89 to 10. That was the vote. And so now we're calling on the House of Representatives to take it up, to recognize how strong the support is behind this, and get the job done.
Didn't the president wasn't he doing an executive order kind of along these same lines?
The president talked about doing an executive order, and it was focused on the corporate ownership. We applauded that presidential announcement a couple months back and said, let's just put this into law. Let's pass this 21st century road to housing bill that not only bans massive corporate ownership of homes, but also does a lot of other things to develop new workforce housing and to actually support individuals get the financing they need in order to make that purchase.
Can we talk about what is probably on everybody's mind now, the current war with Iran? Where are we?
Well, I maintain that it is an illegal war. The reason is that we were not under any attack from Iran, and we weren't even under an imminent threat of attack from Iran. This was a war of choice on the part of President Trump with no clear exit strategy. You've heard him offer half dozen reasons why we are at war in Iran, and meanwhile, Americans' number one concern is the high cost of things. We just talked about the high cost of housing, but the high cost of oil, of gasoline, of energy, all of which are being driven up by this war of choice in Iran. And, as somebody who was sent by the people of Wisconsin to Washington to do, to do a job, I have introduced a war powers resolution that would bring this war to an end. And I will pursue this unless we get the administration to have open hearings, bring Rubio, bring Hegseth into Congress and tell the American people why we are in a war in Iran.
At some point, will the administration have to come to Congress for reauthorization of funds if this war goes beyond a certain period?
So this administration has not tended to follow the rules or the law, or in this case, even the Constitution. So it's really hard to predict what they will do. But what I have to say is that since this war began, I've been offered several closed-door classified briefings. I go to them. I can't tell you what I hear there because they're classified, but they need to make their case to the American people. This is ridiculous that that all they're willing to do is talk in private, and so we need to see the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State, on Capitol Hill, holding open door hearings so the American public can hear their case or their lack of a case for being at war in Iran, and all the billions that they're spending there and the lives that are being lost of U.S. service members, the threat to U.S. citizens in the region. This is, again, an illegal war of choice, and we need to do everything we can to bring it to an end.
May I ask you about, because I think you all are going to begin to debate the SAVE Act. Where are we right now with that?
We anticipate that Leader Thune will bring that measure up before the Senate later today. And this is an effort to kick U.S. citizens off the voter rolls. We have, in looking at this bill, it requires states to turn over their voter registration rolls to a Doge-like entity created by Elon Musk. We've seen that in many parts of the country where this has been done, they've kicked eligible U.S. citizens off the voter rolls, and they don't even tell them. So when they show up to vote, it'll be too late. The type of expensive documentation that's required to reinstate your name on the rolls, whether that's because you've changed your name, because you got married, or because they erroneously used some algorithm and kicked you off. A passport costs $165. And to get a birth certificate in certain states can cost up to $30 and take weeks. So this is, in my mind, an effort for Donald Trump and his MAGA folks to choose their voters rather than the voters choosing their elected officials.
Can I, just part of this is, and this is something I think we dealt with for over 20 years here in Wisconsin, this idea now, it seems if polling is to be believed, that most people in the country don't have a problem with a person having to present a photo ID to vote.
That is absolutely correct. And, you have to present an ID for all sorts of things. That's not, if you want to purchase a bottle of beer, you have to present an ID. So that's not a problem for most folks. The question here is when you're, say, erroneously kicked off the rolls because these algorithms don't work that Elon Musk and Doge created, you have to, in order to rectify that, bring very particular pieces of documentation, either a passport. Now, how many people have passports? It's not a majority of U.S. citizens who have passports, and they're $165. Or going to get a birth certificate from the state where you were born. That can be a very cumbersome effort. And so no one's against showing that you are who you say you are at the polls. But the way you get your name back on the registration list, if Doge has kicked you off and it seems like it's pretty riddled with errors, that will disenfranchise U.S. citizens.
I know that one of the ways that they got around the photo ID piece here, because there were people saying that might be considered a poll tax.
Yep.
And would that not also be the case? Well, let me run back, because my understanding, I was under the impression that all of us, even though now we are registered voters, would have to go back in to prove our citizenship. That is not the case under this particular bill, right?
So what is being proposed is that that the federal government take control of the state voter registration lists and run them through an algorithm that's supposed to look at things like convictions and citizenship. They've done a few pilot tests, and local election officials have said, oh my gosh, there's errors here. They're kicking U.S. citizens who are eligible to vote off the registration list, and they're not telling them. And then all of a sudden you have to figure out, day of election. In some states, that's too late because they require pre-registration maybe a month or so in advance. Right. So it is chaotic. And we should not federalize our elections. We had the president on a podcast a month or so ago saying we need to nationalize elections. Well, I'm sure that's what this president wants. He wants to pick the electorate, but that is not what we need. And we have a long record in the state of Wisconsin of local election officials conducting fair and effective elections, and that's what we need to keep.
Will Majority Leader Thune, do you think that they're going to use the nuclear option and just allow just a majority up and down vote, or that, the filibuster will stay in place?
Time will tell. We are hearing all sorts of predictions as we head into this week of debate on this measure. We're hearing that they're not, that they're going to try to hold the floor and where each party try to wear down the other party in debate on this. We will see how that transpires, but we're ready, and we're ready to show up and make sure that we protect U.S. citizens' rights to vote.
Now, was this bill sent from the House to the Senate?
Yes.
And is it the same bill that passed the House that's currently being discussed and debated in the Senate?
Yes, the Save America Act passed the House a few weeks ago, and now it is coming up to the Senate floor. But again, such a distraction from the things that most Americans are concerned about right now, which is getting out of this war and the high cost of things, and those two are not unrelated.
Do you think that this is a distraction?
I do. I think it is. Additionally, I think Donald Trump understands how unpopular his agenda is to go to a war of choice, illegal war of choice, and to pursue policies that are raising the cost of everything from groceries to housing to health care. People are feeling that, and if he can, he knows his agenda is so unpopular, the only thing that's left for him to do is try to change the electorate that goes out to vote at the midterms.
So if, again, what can we do at this point, we being the voters? Is there anything we can do, or do we need to wait until November?
I think it is speaking up, and I will always urge folks to register their opinions first on the issues that are unfolding by calling their House member and both senators. And in addition, I think in this day of fragmented communication, trying to make sure that we are setting the record straight. This conversation we just had about the Save America Act is a really important one, because a lot of people would characterize that legislation as simply requiring a photo identification before you vote. That, as we've just discussed, is not what this is about. And word needs to get out of what this really is intended to do.
U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, thank you for spending a few moments with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And it's always good speaking with you.
All right.
All
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Yup. Did you? What did the letter say?
I looked at it and I just put it to the side because it didn't concern me.
So might want to look at that letter.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back home and look at that letter again.
Your citizenship has just been terminated.
You're like, what?
We sent you a letter.
You didn't respond.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the episode on Seinfeld when they put what was his name that had ran, that they ended up shipping him off because his mail was in Jerry's Seinfeld mailbox, but Elaine didn't give him the mail, and he was like, Habib, I had your information, but
I work with, I've worked in government all my adult life. Part of, I think it's 6th Amendment, 14th Amendment is called due process. So when the government takes a negative action, let's say you're getting food stamps, we're going to close your case. They have to give you 30 days advance warning that that's what's going to happen. I discovered this in child support. That you'll get a letter telling you that we're going to start taking enforcement actions, and it'll list all the things they'll do. They'll suspend your license, they can suspend your passport, tax intercept, let you know all of that, right? Then as begin to start the enforcement, they start sending letters out. So dude go, I didn't even know my license was suspended. Did nobody tell me? Oh, we sent you 3 letters. We sent you 3 letters. And then they go in the system and show you the date that the letters went out. Now, what people do is when they get government mail, they just put it off to the side. I don't even want to look at my government mail. You might want to open your government mail.
Now
you go now. Now you read your government mail. Now. It's like, man, they need to send you notice that changes are going to happen. And in most instances, it's 30 days, right? That they're going to take this action in 30 days, which then should allow you to either contact whatever that agency is to clarify the record or to do what you need to do in order to forestall that negative action happening on your case, whether it's food stamps, whether it's W-2, whether it's child support, Social Security, Medicare. They all have that law in, and I'm glad that that law is in place, and working in government, I understand that it goes out, right? Even when I was working public assistance, sometimes if we couldn't systematically generate a letter, we manually generate a letter, because what you're going to do is take us to a fair hearing, and they're just going to restore the benefits, whether you should get them. So that whole due process thing, we had this big daycare scandal a few years ago, where there was a particular sister, last name was Jackson. She was one of the worst, right? And but because of due process, there was an issue that there was a payment that she was due. I think we call that retroactive. So there was a payment that she was due. She wanted her payment. The person there had to give her the payment, because the action was going forward, not on this past payment. And then it would be up then to the government either to take her to court or come up with some other means, either to capture the money or to disqualify her from the program. And people go, but it protects you, because you don't think about it until it's something where you go out and like the senator was saying, how difficult it is. And there's certain people who are legally not allowed to get a passport, right? But they didn't forfeit their right to vote. And that is where these things. So, for example, in Wisconsin, once you're off a paper, if you're a convicted felon, you can vote. Mississippi, you can't.
How long did it take you to get off paper for being a felon?
It depends on what your sentence is.
Yeah, and it depends on if all your restitution is paid at the end of when you release, because you're not fully released until your restitution is paid.
Well, I didn't know that piece.
Yeah. See, that's probably why a lot of them can't vote.
Yeah,
they pay their restitution.
Yeah, so if you own papers for 15, 16 years and you never paid your monthly restitution, when it's time for your release date, they hold you until you pay your restitution. So you can extend your probation or your parole by not paying your restitution. So just think years of not paying $100, $200 a month or whatever your restitution is, and you finally get that release date, but they tell you, well, we're not going to officially release you because you got restitution you have to pay.
Yeah, and I find it very, very fascinating that the Second Amendment doesn't extend to people who have, well, in the state of Wisconsin, I don't know, other states might be that you can get your Second Amendment rights restored where you can own a firearm. And it's what I call a nigger rule. And what I mean by that is that, okay, once I get in the system, okay, and I had this felony, and the felony wasn't even, there was no violence.
Right.
There's something else, a child support, that's a felony, right? And so then I can legally, or I can't legally own a firearm. And I'm going, why are you saying I can't own a firearm for a felony that was not violent? There was no weapon used. I mean, so who does that impact on?
Restored though? Because
you get your right to bear arms restored.
Yep.
You have to go through the governor.
No, well, actually, the once you're if you're on papers for child support,
right,
and you're a felon, once your terms is up and your restitution is done, you are no longer a felon, so you can possess a firearm.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I didn't
live in witness.
Okay, I didn't know that. Because notice when they catch a whole lot of dudes, felon in possession of a firearm, and I understand when you even on paper, you can't even be around a gun.
And this is the crazy thing about it. Say, for instance, if you're at home and somebody is over at your house and you don't know them and that they have a firearm, and the police is called for whatever the reason is, it might be a fight, an argument, whatever. They go around, ask everybody in the house, are you on probation or parole or ID, whatever? If you are, and there's a gun around or drugs around, and you don't even know, they take you to jail. You got to sit for the 30 days or however long
Or they call your PO.
your PO will
Yep.
hold
And you can be revoked.
And then if you're not in good standings with your PO, they can revoke you, or they can hold you for, was it 60 days or 70 something? They can hold you, which is crazy because you had nothing to do with it, but because of these restrictions, and if you have police contact, say you get pulled over, you have police contact and you forget to call your PO and tell your PO, they can put a PO hold on you,
Right.
which would then put a warrant out on you, and they'll come get you.
And the number one reason why people are in prison is revocation. Is revocation. Not that you committed a new crime, you going back on your old crime.
Yep.
All right, let's do this because I see I got callers. We'll go to a break. Yeah, because we ran along. You listen to Community Voice. Callers, please be. That was yesterday. Was Mumbles Monday, right?
Right.
This is Tourette's Tuesday. Callers, be patient with us. We're gonna take a quick break. We'll be right back.
FM with your host, Keith Parris.
I love all African people all over the world. We were having a conversation, man, and I was telling him about how desperate this guy was. He ended up going to rob a fast food place. He did it under the guise of applying for a job, and then he stuck him, asked for a certain amount of money. But then I was talking about a relative, and this dude did 3 different bits. So it's kind of going like, this ain't survival, man. This something else, right? This something else. You know, you got I was telling my godson, we were riding. I said, I had this thing, man. Never get a whooping for the same thing twice. Yeah. I'm just saying, if I'm in jail, what you in here for? If I was in here for bank robbery the first time, it ain't gonna be bank robbery the second time. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hey Keith, how you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. I want to ask Ryder the question. Ryder, I was walking in the door and I was kind of heard you say once you done being a felon, you can purchase a firearm. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah, it depends on
but you have to request to get that restored.
Yeah, it depends. Well, one, it depends on your felon. So if it was something small and it wasn't violent, then once you're done with paper, your probation or your parole, once you're done with it, you're free.
Okay, so
but you would have to do a separate request though.
So even though I don't plan on purchasing a firearm, but I would have to go back to my parole agent and request that because I'm done with parole.
What was it? Was it
it was
violent?
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
Oh, so if it was if it was violent, then you would have to ask for a pardon from the government. You would have to get a pardon.
In order to get a firearm.
Yeah, you would have to get a pardon, and they would have to pardon you, and then you can ask them to seal everything, and then
do that.
Okay, and
yes.
Another thing, Keith, I'm like George. I was in Walgreens yesterday. A lady said, "Is your name Angela?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "Cause I can tell. I listen to the radio, and I can tell by your voice."
You know who that was, right?
No.
Right House woman.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
There you go.
Mr. Keith, it don't matter because I'm still number 1 regardless.
Number 1. She's still number 1.
No, you didn't.
You so dirty. You so dirty.
Don't she know what you sound like?
You starting to be like Devo. Always trying to keep us
No,
from there.
you didn't, King.
Right. He really does right out.
Slide that with
He slid it in so cold too.
Yeah, he showed me he got a good one in. I got to give you a little pop for that, Keith.
Who are you, Mrs. Rideout?
And then she would have said that, you know what I would have thought, but I have no nice to meet you. Point blank, period.
Oh my God, that's
hilarious. No, Angela, you can go like we got good taste, don't we, girl?
Right.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
All right, you guys have a good day.
All right. Boy, Keith, boy, hey, he slid it in cold too. Like he slid in like James Brown too.
Hey, Jermaine, we both would listen like.
That boy cold.
As much woo as they do on my program, I think Ms. Rideout to figure something's going on. You know, like, okay, maybe the first time she called in every day. She called in every day.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why on the child support you couldn't get a fishing license? What the fishing got to do with child support?
Well, the penalties are put in place. Remember I told you about the notices?
Yeah.
The notices let you know if you don't do what you need to do, this is what can happen. So when they go in to start suspending license, that means you've gotten 3 notices prior to that before you get the actual imposition of the enforcement. So that's why we tell people, keep your addresses updated because you're getting letters, you're getting court dates, all that. And your ignorance, I didn't get the letter, ain't a defense. You know, unless we went in, you reported an address, I put the address in wrong. right? And then it went to the wrong address, you might get a pass then.
Man, y'all mean, man. Y'all mean, because it was times I used to go down there and they talk to you crazy, they treat you crazy, and they make you want to do something and
Now,
say
wait a
something.
minute. Now, some folks, just first of all, that is an incredible staff. I'm always going to be defensive of that staff.
Hey, I
understand when people come in, but some people come in the door on 10.
I didn't come in on
not
10.
you, brother. I didn't say you, brother.
I'm just saying,
did you have
people
a scowl?
down there mean,
Did you have a
man?
scowl on your face when you came in?
No, man, I came in. Listen, this and this was years ago. But I came in and it's, can I help you? What? Yeah, I'm here to.
Maybe you just a little raw.
No, man. Them people mean, man. Them people are mean. They need some training.
Let me say this about everybody. I don't care where it was. I worked in public assistance prior to working for child support. We got the same complaints about, and let me use this word, some of our employees. Every place you go, you might have that, but I could say for the most part, most people understand. Now, look, this is a very contentious situation when you're coming in. Man, I didn't realize the level of heat that child support engendered, but it does. I mean, on a lot of different parties. And so when people come in the door, first of all, people are not happy that an enforcement action has been taken. I saw that even when we closed a food stamp case. People ain't happy about that. So they already come feeling some kind of way. And then when you come in the door, and then depends. And look, I used to tell staff that I supervised. I didn't supervise child support staff, but I did supervise IM staff. And I would say to them, people could care less that you having a bad day at home. When they come in to this whole customer service piece, that was just important for me.
Yeah.
Because my whole mantra was treat everybody like Big Mama.
Yeah.
When Big Mama come in the door.
That's right.
But look, unfortunately, as the late Chief Parker said, when people were complaining about the brutality of the Los Angeles Police Department, he said, unfortunately, we recruit from the human race. And so you can get, like we were talking yesterday about our customer service experiences at different restaurants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you had some where they were very pleasant.
Yeah.
And then you had others where, and I used to say to staff, some of you on the counter really need to be on fries.
Man, need to be in the back taking out the garbage.
Yeah,
man.
I mean, you need to be on the grill. Caller, welcome to the program.
Man.
You should not be dealing with the
At
public.
all.
Good morning. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, you was talking about y'all send out letters and do all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I was in court one time. When you in court, you sit in the back, you see other cases going on or whatever. So this man kept saying, he telling the judge that I think it's Justice Point. They have been trying to judge, like, man, they've been trying to get in touch with you. So he like, they didn't call me, I ain't got no letter, none of that. So the judge like, okay, give me your current phone number. He telling him the phone number. Say, what's your address? He give him the address. Judge looked through the paperwork. He said, that's funny. That's the same information they got for you. Take him into custody.
Oh, no. Whoa. Yeah, I can believe
it
that.
was so funny. He looked through that paperwork for a couple minutes. He said, yeah, that's the exact same information they already got.
He should have gave him his brother number or something.
No, I mean, I'm
Set
just
yourself
saying that
up.
people don't think about it's like when brothers go to prison. The last thing on your mind, probably when you go to prison, is child support. Even though when you go to prison, you can ask that your child support be held open during your period of incarceration. There are people who have accumulated, like they don't even know that right exists.
Yeah, because they don't tell them that.
Well, now they do when you go through processing at Dodge. They do. They go in because they've had child support people go in and let them know that, hey, if you go in, I don't know if we still call it the prison project in Milwaukee County, but I would go right over to MSDF and I would say to them, you could do, and then guys would write in.
But listen, when I was in MSDF, they didn't tell me none of that. I had a cousin that just did 9 years for child support.
Mm-hmm.
He did 9 freaking years for child support. How do you supposed to support your child? You taking him away, sending him down south for 9 years for child support, but the court tell him that they got the best interest of his baby in mind. How?
Now, see, that's probably how you was talking.
See, mad already.
See, you mad already. That's how you talking.
Cause
let me tell you why. Hold on. I'm gonna say this. Let me say why. If they've gotten you, that means a debt has accumulated.
But to lock him up for 9 years?
Hold on, wait a minute. The debt has accumulated. In Milwaukee County, it is so rare, not to say it don't happen, because I know I've talked to people where it does happen. 115,000 cases. What I'm saying is that if you've accumulated that debt, child support is mandated to collect that debt. And so that is like the IRS, anybody else who has the power to go in, they have incredible administrative powers to go in, but it's collecting the debt. Now, if you don't have a debt or you've been paying, then that's a different situation. But taking the money over to her, I do this for my kids, but you got an official debt that has to be satisfied.
Even if you keep the receipts,
it don't matter.
It don't matter because
your bill is your bill.
Exactly. And
it's the same thing with a car note. Okay, I took it over to Clark to pay it, and Clark didn't pay it.
Yeah, but you ain't gonna go to jail.
Responsible for it?
You ain't gonna go to jail for it.
Go to jail.
You ain't go to jail for it.
But I'm saying that administrative penalty is a hard one, but it's also a high threshold that the state has to meet in order to be able to get that conviction. And one of the thresholds is you had the ability to pay and you did not pay.
But Keith, look,
why 9 years?
Wait, hold on. Listen.
Why not? I mean,
I don't know what the debt amount was.
But if you lock him up for this debt, you still ain't gonna get your money because you putting him further behind.
But now I understand that, and I've heard that argument about, well, if you suspend my license, how can I go to work? Now I would sit up and go like, okay, technically you correct. How many people out here driving on suspended license?
Yeah, but if I get caught, then it's gonna make it worse.
Oh, right. And ain't going to work.
I get that, but still, why put me in listen, child support is supposed to be for absent fathers and not broken relationships.
No.
And a lot of these
that's not true.
Child support is not for broken relationships.
Child support, let me say what it is. I can tell you what people made it. Let me tell you what it is. Child support was put in place to, one, either reimburse the state for monies paid out in public assistance, i.e. AFDC or W-2, TANF money, right? Or as a disincentive, because if I get X amount of dollars to support my child, then I don't have to go on public assistance.
I get that.
Child support was then put in place to collect the debt. It's a debt. So you got to get to how you got to the debt.
But Keith,
not how the debt is being collected.
But Keith, look at this though. Child support, because I know some people, and we had this conversation in barbershops. You can be with a person, you have a baby with this person, you doing great. No child support, you taking care of your kid because you're responsible. But the first time, soon as y'all break up, they push the nuclear button and say, well, that's all right, I'm going to put child support on you. Well, child support, again, is for absent fathers and not broken relationships.
Let me clarify one other thing. An absent parent. There are women paying child support.
I get it. Okay.
So for an absent parent who's not in a home,
a broken relationship,
who has a financial responsibility to support and take care of that child.
But the only
Both
time
parents do.
I get it, that is true. But the only time that button is pushed is when you break up. And when you break up, 9 times out of 10, the woman would say, I'm putting child support on you. Well, I'm already taking care of my child. Why do you do that? The reason why they do that, because they put you in the system, because they know that the system is going to mess them up.
They didn't put
they
you in
know that.
Let me go back again. In most instances, they did not put you in the system.
If they wouldn't file, they did.
No. Let me explain. Over 80% of the people who are in child support are in child support because of public assistance.
Okay, well, let's talk about the people that's not in there, bro.
And that's only about 10% of our population.
Doc, listen, I know some cats, some stand-up cats from day one that took care of their kid, that was in their kid's life. But because they broke up and the relationship didn't go where the person wanted it to go, I'm gonna put child support on you. And I'm gonna tell you something. I know a person that went to court. The judge looked at the woman and said, "What do you want me to do with him?" And the woman said, "I wanted to teach him a lesson." That's because you're broken. Child support is in place for those people that don't take care of their kids.
Well, that's not.
But don't use that nuclear bomb because we broke up.
Well, hold on. All is fair in love and war.
Man,
and let me say, what if the kids were living with you and y'all broke up? Would you not go after her for child
No,
support?
because if you're taking care of your kid before we broke up.
Okay, but she ain't now. She ain't sending you a dime. You're not going to go after her for
different.
child. Okay.
That's an absent person. That's an absent parent.
But there are absent parents who pay child support.
I get that, but what I'm saying is don't put the person in a system because y'all broke up.
That's not why they're in the system.
No, I'm talking about the people that got put in the system.
80%
not because
of the people, 80% of the people who are in the system are in the system because of public assistance.
Doc.
That is the hold on, because I think people need to understand this. That is the primary purpose of that, is dealing with TANF dollars and back in the day AFDC dollars. That drove the whole reformation of child support. Look, my daddy wasn't in my life, and my mama didn't want like a whole lot of black women, didn't want to go down to the courthouse and then set all that up. You may or may not get the money, right? Because if they were out of state, all I'm saying is the perception is that if I'm taking care of my kids, and I don't even want to get into taking care of my kids because, again, I dealt with public assistance. I've been on both sides of this coin. I saw how parents, and primarily women, were struggling.
I get that
financially to take care of their kids.
I get that, but what I'm saying,
and then when I go to you and say, okay, I used to use this analogy. Tell me anybody you know that quit a job because their car note was too high. Okay. That's my point. My point is that if one, and it's something this brother said the other day, which I thought was I think idealistic, but it ain't the reality. He said, why would I want the best for such and such when I break up? My question becomes, why do the kids have to suffer because of our twisted relationship?
So why do the court have to tell you what to do when you've been doing it before the courts was there?
Well,
the courts weren't in the bedroom with y'all.
But if you were doing it, then you would go like, okay, were you giving her $1,000 a month? If you were giving her $1,000 a month, then you would still give her $1,000 a month if the court ordered it, right?
But why would the court have to order it if you've been taking care of your responsibility?
Well,
that's for the people that's not handling their responsibilities.
Jermaine, being one of those kids where somebody wasn't taking care of their responsibilities, I can tell you that there's a significant part of the population who are not taking care of their kids.
I get it, but
they're not sending any money.
I get it.
I'm talking like none. And then here's the thing. Dudes will complain, she got her nails done, she got her hair did. Wait a minute. But then when he comes to court, this Negro is all geared up. Well, he looking like $1 million.
Keith,
so what I'm saying is you crying poverty on one level, but, so I'm not going to, and I could care less about the mama or the daddy. I'm going to be real honest with you. It's the kids and whether or not they get financial support. And being a kid who for years, for whatever reasons, did not receive financial support from my dad, and my mama had to figure out how to make it work. And then my brother was talking and we having this conversation. Then I said, look, he said, oh, you got Social Security. I was 11 years old when I got Social Security. I didn't get Social Security at a month. So the point is my mother had to figure out, whoever that custodial parent is, whoever those kids live with, they got to figure out how to keep a roof over their heads, have to keep the house. Now, look, if you so concerned about her mothering skills, then maybe that's something that you should have looked at before you had the kid. Because guess what? She's the same woman after she had the kid that she was before she had the kid.
So why can't it be the same man before the court stepped in can be the same man after the court step in. So why would the court have to step in if I'm
when they
taking
walk
care?
away from the relationship,
Some dudes
walk away.
Some dudes.
And some
but
dudes,
you can't use that nuclear bomb on everybody.
It ain't a nuclear bomb.
It is, man, because it puts you in the system, and
you already in the system.
Hold on, no, you're not, because I wasn't already in the system.
Now that's
so
different.
I'm speaking
But
from my
makes-
point of view.
But hold on, that's only 10% of our population.
Okay, so let's talk about the 10%.
Well, what about the 80%?
Damn the 80%. Let's talk about the 10%.
Like, call him, man. I gotta go. I got 1 minute left. Damn the 80. Caller, welcome to the program.
Hi, good morning. I just wanted to add my perspective as a mother who was with someone for multiple years, had children. We did not end up getting married. We were super young. You know, it's a good thing we ended up not getting married. But initially, when we split and we went through the child support order and what have you, we did it in a way of agreement initially, where it's like, okay, we agreed to X amount of dollars instead of the percentage, what have you. Then, as years went on, he decided he didn't want to pay it. So, you know, and I have to say too, at that time I was on state assistant.
There you go.
Then I bust my butt and worked 2 jobs for many years to accompany the lifestyle that I wanted my kids to grow up in. And it has been, my kids are young adults now and late stage teenagers. And it has been at least 12 years since I've received any child support. So I guess I go on to say, like, I understand where Jermaine is coming from. I get that. At the same time, it was doing me no good once he started changing how he wanted to operate as far as providing for them. It does me no good for him to have bought them, for example, $400 coats for the winter and $300 pairs of shoes when I'm trying to figure out how to pay for a 3 and 4 bedroom house.
In the heat.
And put food on the table. And the heat. And the water.
So can I ask you this quick question?
Uh-huh.
So when y'all split,
Mhm.
and he wasn't handling his business, that's when you went down and filed, right?
Correct.
Okay. So
Or actually, no, I'm sorry. No, we did this when we knew our relationship. We were lucky in that way of, like, it was an amicable split.
Okay. So
Yeah.
So my question is, because some women will do this, they will use
Yeah,
the
that's
child
true.
support nuclear bomb on, well, if we're not gonna be together, I'm just gonna put you on child support, because they know it's a nuclear bomb for the black man.
Okay, let me say this. Can I real quick? I gotta go because it's top of the hour and I'm running long. But let me say this. I worked on the South Side, and I had this one particular case that I remember that this guy was paying support, and then she decided to see someone else, i.e., she was white, he was black. You know that dude cut off the child support. He hid all his assets. What I'm saying is that people, and then who suffers? The kids,
The children.
And I think that people miss this. And I'm having this conversation with adults, and I'm going, but your kids are suffering. You know, if they're on W-2, you ain't taking care of your kids, because if you take care of your kids, they wouldn't be eligible for W-2.
So if you lock them up, he really ain't gonna take care of his
But
kids.
they locked you up after.
Well, he
They
wasn't
didn't
doing
lock
it
you up
before he got locked up.
I get it,
You know?
but the whole thing of,
So
well,
we're
the
not
kid is
losing anything
suffering.
as the mother, unfortunately, or the children financially, because they weren't doing it for years anyway. Like, when I say there are tens of thousands of dollars that this man owes in child support because we have multiple children together. You know, it sounds very familiar of hiding the assets and all that good stuff, because that's exactly what happened to me
I can tell you,
and my children.
Well, let me do this. I really ran long.
Great conversation.
And again, somebody said we could do part 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, man, that's great conversation.
Yep.
Man. That's great conversation.
All right.
Yeah.
Let me
Take
thank
care.
Clark. Let me thank Jermaine. Let me thank U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Callers, we thank you. Good Lord willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.